Whoever wins this whole thing is gonna have one up in Michael Jordan, Larry Bird, Magic Johnson, Kobe, Shaq. So I guess I'm better than them. No, I'm joking.
The NBA in-season tournament has made a fan out of most, from superstars co-signing this event to NBA fans erupting at games. The atmosphere has been like no other regular season games that we've seen in the history of the NBA. We're now approaching the semifinals tonight as the Pelicans take on the Lakers and the Bucks try to hold off the Pacers. While these games have all been exciting, it's all begging the question to me, how important is the NBA in-season tournament? We're going to talk about the young teams in this video. We're going to talk about what it means for the league, what it means for players' legacies, and then at the very end, I'm going to leave my predictions for the games tonight. And I would encourage you guys in the comments to leave yours. Let's get started talking about the young teams though and waste no more time. I'd like to give a huge shout out to the team that's gone the furthest and the youngest, the Indiana Pacers. They've been playing elite level basketball a majority of the season, but in the in-season tournament, it's shining extremely bright, especially on the offensive side of things, as they've defeated the powerhouse Celtics and now go up against the Milwaukee Bucks, who have also offensively dominated these matches, as they just put, I believe it was 147 points on the Knicks on Tuesday night. If you take a look at the Pacers lineup and the contract and the amount of money they make, you'll notice that $500,000 granted to the winners of this tournament would go a long way, as 17 out of the 20 players are making less than $10 million a year, and 10 of them are making less than $3 million a year. It's a glaring relevance that this money could be deemed life-changing for some of these guys, and you can just see the reaction to success on single plays in this tournament. You can see them building chemistry, you can see them picking each other up, and just trying to become a team and get ready for the playoffs, and not only that, but the finals of this NBA in-season tournament. Outside from the Pacers, the other three teams also look very, very excited to compete for this trophy, as it heavily resembles a playoff basketball atmosphere. I've said this already, but for young coaches and rookie coaches or rookie players or young players like Adrian Griffin, it's very, very, very great for them and their team to build chemistry in an environment that is not normal compared to the regular season. The stakes are higher, the fans are louder, and nothing stops for a second. But I am curious, with all of this being said, what it means for an NBA player's legacies, because I don't think that somebody would say, oh, I have Giannis higher all time than Kevin Durant, because Giannis won an NBA in-season tournament trophy and he was the NBA in-season MVP. But at the same time, this can't just mean nothing, right? They can't just be doing it for nothing other than the money. It's a symbol of hardship, especially considering that the points are totaled and tracked to even advance. Like if the Bucks went 4-0, but they beat their opponents by 110, and then the Heat went 4-0, but they only beat their opponents by 109, then the Bucks would advance. The stats, those are being tracked as well. They're being followed to keep up with the MVP of this thing. And needless to say, there is a trophy being supplied at the end. There's talks of possibly a banner going up. I'm not sure if they're going to go through with that. Not only that, but like I said, there will be an NBA in-season tournament MVP, and it somewhat gives me similar vibes to how the All-Star Game MVP used to be. It was competitive basketball, there was meaningful basketball, there was real rivalries between the East and the West. Back then, it just seemed so much more notable, it seemed more valuable, but now the value has more than doubled in the way it's plummeted. I'm not even sure there's a way to gauge the value because it's so fresh. And when I say gauge the value, I'm talking not about the All-Star Game MVP, but the in-season tournament MVP. Like the value it holds right now, it's very, very interesting because some people may say that it means nothing out of spite and maybe saltiness that they lost. But the winners, I feel like the first winners are going to gauge how important it is based on how they react to it. The one thing I do know is that teams are still going to be competing for it, and it's still making a difference in the regular season play. People may not like the courts, but they're loving the environment. A supporter of this channel actually suggested that they should switch to specific jerseys rather than courts, and while I do really love this idea, I don't think it draws enough attention to the difference in the game, as that's what Adam Silver intended doing with the courts to begin with. I said this once, but I'll repeat myself saying that Adam Silver said in the first week of the in-season tournament while talking courtside with Brian Scalabrine at the Celtics game, he made the point that the courts are so different and so eye-grabbing so that those who are out in public, maybe at the bar or a restaurant or at work, they can see the court and ask their peers or coworkers or whoever, what is this? Why is it so different? And hopefully someone with a little bit of knowledge on the topic can educate them on the logic and situation that the NBA in-season tournament is. While this makes a ton of sense from a marketing standpoint, I'm sure there may be a better execution down the line. I just want to know your guys' opinion on this entire thing. For me, it feels like people overhated it to start. People didn't see the value in it. They didn't see the point in it. They'd rather just, not even give it a chance and just treat it like another regular season game. But now that it's starting to pop up a bit, it's being pushed a little harder by the media. The players are taking it more seriously. I feel like fans of the appropriate teams are starting to appreciate it more and more and more. I also think it's really good for Las Vegas, considering they don't have an NBA team and they're not really an NBA state, so they can watch playoff level basketball be played in their state or city and be yielded all the benefits of it and just be, at these games. As for the predictions tonight, I'm going to go ahead and say the Pelicans are going to beat the Lakers. The Pelicans are much faster in transition, and LeBron has been playing a lot of minutes this week. That doesn't mean I think LeBron is going to choke or perform poorly, but I think if the matchup is Zion and LeBron James or Zion and Anthony Davis, I think Zion is going to do very, very well tonight. I also think it's a lot to keep up with. Jordan Hawkins is looking amazing. Trey Murphy is just back from injury. Those are two great off the ball and on the ball three-point shooters. They just move very, very well in transition. And then Jose Alvarado is obviously a very pesky, young-ish point guard and defender who has made a name in these type of play-in, style tournaments. And then obviously Brandon Ingram, Zion, CJ, these guys, they look very, very great. So that's who I have winning that game. I wouldn't be surprised if the Lakers won, but I personally am going to pick the Pelicans. And then in the other game, I'm going to go out on a limb here and say the Pacers are going to win. It would be very, very interesting for them to win, and the Bucks are definitely the favorite. If you look on the sports book, the Pacers are actually the least favorited odds to win the whole thing, but I think the Pacers offense is really going to shock the new look Bucks defense. Maybe if Drew Holiday was still in Milwaukee, I'd say something different, but I digress. I think the Bucks will put up a good fight, but I do think that the Pacers are going to win. What do you guys think, though? What do you make of the in-season tournament? Please let me know your opinions in the comments below, as I am very curious. I hope you all have a great rest of your day. Stay happy, healthy, and blessed. Peace.